Welcome to the Fine Print, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Caleb Teskey, and today on our third try, we've got Miguel Lopez here from LB Farms in Enosburgh Falls. Miguel, thank you so much for finally getting with me here. Sorry, we've had some miscommunications.
Oh yeah, I mean it's always like trying to catch up one on one end or the other. But no, thank you for having me, and just been looking forward to this. And looking to I love all the other interviews that you've done, and it's just it's
Oh,
nice to be.
you've been watching.
Oh yeah, I try to catch a little bit here and there. I saw the one with I think it's Red Clover Analytics, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep, Yearman, and I saw a couple with the Cannabis Control Board people, and just a couple others here and there. But yeah, no, this is great, man. You do a good job. So
well, I'm honored. Thank you, sir. Then you know how we kick this off with a 5-minute life story, man. Would you share some of your background with us?
Yeah, I guess I could kick it off with being born and raised in San Diego, and just never thought I would end up in Enosburgh Falls, Vermont, doing what I do. But I mean, it's always been a passion. It's cannabis has played a huge role in my life, especially with some of my family members, especially my mom, who fell ill with cancer and everything. No longer with us, but either way, it definitely provided her some comfort, and it really just let me know how wonderful this plant is, and I think it's really nice that we're at where we're at, and hopefully more people can enjoy it and feel safe and know that they're getting a very clean product. But yeah, growing up there in San Diego, it was challenging, man. We had like the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it kind of reminds me of like Yearman's story. I mean, not as so much of like the gang related, but just just the certain environments that you grow up in and everything. And it puts a whole perspective on how you want to pursue life. And I really didn't know at that young of an age that, hey, this is what I'm going to be doing. I knew it was around, and it's just like I said, it's always been a part, but just to actually be in the industry and doing it like legally is a blessing, man. And I'm just very, very grateful.
How long did you live out there for?
Oh God, probably till I was when I say probably my late teens, almost like 17, 18. And then I moved to Colorado and then did the whole ski bump thing there. And, cause in San Diego, I grew up, surfing and skateboarding, and, I had to do a 2-hour commute to go up to like Snow Summit or something like that for snowboarding. But yeah, those 3 activities have always, been, just something I've always loved to do. I mean, besides like painting and, whatnot, but it's just, yeah. And I'm more of an abstract person. So no, nothing too crazy detail, but yeah, just those certain things in life that keep you going.
That's interesting. You don't see a lot of, Hispanic guys on skis out here in Vermont.
I know, it's pretty unique, but no, actually growing up snowboarding, it's kind of funny because, back in the day, there was a lot of whether they were called knuckle draggers or just, everybody had like supposedly a lot of the snowboarders hated the skiers and just, it was like, but it was kind of fun growing up because in that industry, it's like, I'm like, after snowboarding, I'm like, I want to try skiing. And it was fun. So I like it, I can't complain. I mean, I do prefer snowboarding over it, but shoot, I'll strap on some skis if it came down to it.
Look, I'd like to back you up a little bit before we get to anything else, because you mentioned this thing about your mom. And if you're comfortable talking about that, I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, my mom had, multiple different styles of cancer, and it really kind of the one that I mean, first started off with like cervical and everything like that, so there was all the procedures that go along with having that, but then lymphoma was the next one, and that went into remission. And during the time that she was in remission, she was still in some pain, and she's still like, but the doctors kept wanting to prescribe her like, very invasive, like, synthetic drugs, and whether it be oxy or, certain things with like codeine, because of just, what were her certain ailments were at that time with the lymphoma. And but come to find out, like the final thing that consumed her was the carcinoma, which was the lung cancer. And so, but through all those stages and everything like that, I was with her every step of the way, and to be able to provide her some comfort, even just with the edibles that, I was able to make at that time, which God don't, I was never like a confectionist to where like I prefer, like I think there's even still some times where, you still had some like ground up leaf in the brownies or something, it wasn't that refined to where it was like, what it is today. But yeah, I mean, either way, for what I was able to do at that time for her, it definitely brought her a lot of comfort.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which must be an amazing feeling for you.
Oh, it was, to know that she got some good sleep, or that, that she just, she could lay off like some of the oxys and whatever, that they were prescribing her at the day, knowing that, hey, I don't have to take that many, especially like for sleep. She really didn't like to be really sedated because, she had kids. She had, my two sisters and everything, to where it's like, she wanted to be the mom, you know what I'm saying? And not just, like a vegetable kind of just sitting there kind of just heavily sedated. So no, it was really good to be able to, provide her that relief to where she could, be coherent and sociable with her kids. So no, it was a good
Wow.
feeling, because it didn't just impact me, but it definitely impacted on my sisters and everything. So
Wow.
no, it was good.
That's powerful.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think for what Vermonters have in store and where we're going, man, it's good. There's going to be the ups and downs, but it's just, we're well on our way. And it's so important to, like, I feel for us Vermonters to really, don't lose your passion, when it comes to the monetary end of this as well. We're all in it to be able to do what we're passionate about, but, it's definitely, the money is not the focal point of it. It's to be able to provide the people with the clean product, knowing where it's coming from, and just a safe source. That way, hey, yeah, if you want to get something that's not going to get you sick, or worried about all the stuff that's laced out there these days, it's just, definitely, supporting your local craft cannabis, cultivator, extractor, whoever, whatever your choices to, or preferences, that's going to be huge. And I think that, they're going to get some really good products from the people that are, like making this stuff up here. So.
And I want to rewind just for another second, because you mentioned that when you were treating your mother with some of these edibles, she wouldn't have to take as many of the Oxycontin type of drugs. Is that something that you noticed when you were doing that?
Oh, absolutely. Like there was days where the doctor, on the bottle, and my mom's a pretty, when she was around, she was a pretty, like, I got to follow things by the book, so the doctor tells her to do this, and hey, heavens forbid it, on the label, it says take 4 oxys every so many hours. But, she knew how that affected her body, but then also her ability to be coherent with, her kids, and, like, including myself. And it was just, being able to, like, hey mom, here, try this, at night, and what do you think? And even in the morning, sometimes, depending on what strain it was, it really, on the sativa ends of it, she was pretty good with the morning. She could kick herself off with a cup of coffee, and saying, hey, you know what, I might, take 2 instead of the 4, or whatever the prescription was recommending. But it definitely created a reduction in the dependency of what they were trying to prescribe her. Like, so she didn't ever over abuse it, or be like, oh my god, I'm in real bad pain, I need to take 6. It was like, I'm going to take my 2, but I'm going to have a brownie with that. And it would set her straight to where, like, she didn't have to go that full length of what the doctors were prescribing for her.
Unbelievable. And you said you tried different strains out.
Yep. So, like, depending on what was available at that time and everything, I had some, friends growing up that were cultivators, and, these were happily, like, a couple of the people that took me under their wing and showed me kind of some of the ropes at such a young, like, at a pretty young age, to really be able to, have a better understanding of it, and really help me get to what I'm doing now.
Wow.
But yeah, the sativa definitely, like, depending on what blend it was, she really, it was night and day, like, so, you got a really heavy indica on her, and, she was able to sleep like a baby, and not have to, have the like the synthetics, or the pharmaceuticals, impact her the way that they would if, she was going with the full dosage. So.
Yeah, I don't know what an Oxycontin hangover feels like, but I know what an edible hangover feels like. It's fine. I shake it off in half an hour.
Oh yeah, but then also too, like, like people that, with the cancers and everything, you get one thing to cut pain, but then you open the door to so many other avenues of, whether, I know constipation was one of the huge things that she was subjected to with the oxys, and, and it was very uncomfortable for her. So to know that, a flower of this plant could actually help reduce that, and give her still the, a pretty equivalent comfort to what that would, just to, she still have to take some, but not that amount, but yet, it didn't really impact her, intestines enough to where, like, oh my God, this is just horrible. It really helped out, and she was able to get relief from it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry to focus on that so much, but that was a super interesting side story, and I'm thinking about making a documentary about these kind of stories. So I wanted to get that.
Yeah, well, if that's the case and you're doing that, you should. Canada has some pretty cool trials that they've done up there, to where, like, you have a heavily a community that's, heavily impacted by the, the pharmaceuticals and stuff like that, such as oxys and perks and whatever, that they get, that they've done studies that to where when you introduce like cannabis into those environments for those people to help offset, like, hey, say the doctor, cut you back from 10 pills a day to 5, but said, here, do some cannabis with it. They've seen that it has like significant, like, or they've had reductions in those communities of those dependencies for the pharmaceuticals.
Sure. And I've seen it for myself. I got to give my grandma some edibles before she died.
Yep.
And we saw how that worked. But she called me 2 hours later. She said, I don't know if it's working, but I just ate a whole meatloaf and I got up out of my chair for the first time in a couple of weeks. And I was like, yeah, it's working.
No, it is amazing. And oh man, like, what kind of excites me, and this is kind of going off the whole, with the cancers and everything and stuff, is just I love seeing like all the minutes from like the Cannabis Control Board where like these people, like 30 people got approved just recently. 30,
Yep,
that's freaking, that is
picking
awesome.
up the pace. Yeah.
Yeah, they are, and I meant, nothing really ever rolls out pretty smooth, but we're getting there. And yeah, would people like to get their plants out early, like, June 1st, whatever the case? I mean, yeah, it's nice if you can, but yeah, you might not get the yield like you normally, you would be, but don't lose sight that you are at this level where we're at right now, where you can put them out legally. If you got your approval, you got your license, it's don't lose sight of that, because like a lot of people can be in that whole, oh, I'm pissed off because it didn't have, I had to wait a little, like I can't say I waited a little extra, but I had a little delay in even in my licensing. And instead of that, it's like, you got to really look at the big picture that that Vermont's keeping it in house and doing what they're doing, and they're not outsourcing it to a lot of other people to come in to implement and put all these regulations into place. So the Cannabis Control Board doing what they do, they're pretty efficient for what tasks they have at hand. So I mean, yeah, it's great. But I love it. I love seeing everybody, whoever's coming on board and doing it, because man, I'm actually looking forward to like trying some of this stuff out there, man. Like I get excited when I get to see other people's stuff, man. It's like, like smoking on my own. Don't get me wrong, I have no complaints, but man,
no, it's pretty good. You sent me home with a little sample, and boy, that was some nice looking flower you got there, Miguel.
No, thank you, man. And it's just like, but yeah, no, I get super stoked on, what other people are putting out. And yeah, and it's just kind of like, like just nice to have that variety. And I think that that's what, a lot of Vermonters, a lot of the tourists are going to, come here, and they're going to see how passionate these Vermonters are about their products. And I think they're going to have just, we're going to get some good feedback and responses. So.
Now, you've been approved for your license already. Is that correct? Sorry, I usually do that off the top, but we got a little lost there in that story. Oh, whoa. Are you breaking up a little? What do we got? We frozen. I'm going to pause it for a second while we get Miguel back. Oh.
All right, perfect.
All right, sorry about that, folks. Right back with Miguel Lopez from LB Farms in Enosburgh. And Miguel, we were talking about the size of the cannabis community here in Vermont, or something like that.
Yeah. No, without a little technical difficulties there for a second, but
yeah.
So like funny little thing, like I saw a post on Instagram the other day. It's like, and it was right around the 4th of July. So this breeder, his name's Leo Stone, but he owns or runs the founder of Aficionado Seeds. And I'm like, I just chimed in and like, oh man, my hometown. And come to find out, it's his hometown too. And it's just like, but this guy is, he's very well established in the cannabis community. And then we just started talking a little bit, and he has a new release coming out, which definitely looking forward to running that or putting that on the upcoming menu. But yeah, it's so neat to see like like someone that you would never thought yeah, you guys would be from the same place, and growing up at the same spot, know some of the same things that go on in that town. And it's pretty cool. So yeah, it is a small world, and I just I don't know, I love being able to be a part of it. But yeah, so like, no, very humble guy, and just kind of it just goes to show that you never know, man. Somebody knows somebody that you're talking to. And it's just, I think up here in Vermont, we're going to have a really good, cannabis community here, to where I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of support from one another. So
now
yeah,
previously, sorry about that. previous to this, where have you been getting your genetics from?
Mainly a lot of it from the West Coast, I mean, whether it's from, mainly out of California. And but it's just, yeah, it's nice. I mean, there's so many different things coming out. I'm looking forward to, definitely working with some breeders up here in Vermont. I haven't really got introduced to a lot of people that do a lot of breeding up here, but hey, in your line of profession, Caleb, I mean, you come across any of these breeders, man, let me know, because I'd love to kind of check out and see what's in their stable.
I think we could probably make that happen.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was talking to someone the other day about it, and it's like, really, like, I mean, I'm a horse racing fan, so it's kind of funny. You have these breeders that are like, that like have these certain horses in their stable, and then, hopefully they'll develop a runner, you know what I'm saying? And like, oh man, hopefully people really, really like this. And to me, like, I it's almost like I'm the trainer, man. I'm going to do what I can to provide, this plant and like the best ability to get out there, and so people hopefully like it. And it's also too, it's almost like an art thing too. Like, I meant, there's people that love that real gas, which, I meant, the gas it's not bad, you know what I'm saying? I love like the hazes, I love like, like the citrusy, the piney, terpenes, but I meant, to have a nice variety in on your menu, man, that's going to be super huge. And that's something that, I'm definitely working on to get so we're all set for the 2023 year.
Now, when we talk about genetics, a lot of what I've been hearing is that, some of those West Coast cultivars are really beautiful when you grow them indoor in a nice controlled environment. But for like Vermont outdoor growing seasons, you're trying to breed for specific phenotypes that are going to hold up better against pests and wind and that kind of thing. What do you know about that?
Oh, that, like, I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, the a lot of like the really, the established breeders out in California, they actually recommend like breeding outdoors sometimes, just because it definitely, I think the way that it has like, the way that, just the whole sun grown thing is that I think they get almost like a better, I don't know, I don't know if you want to say profile, but they tend to do well out there. And then indoors, they even say sometimes it changes a little bit, but no, there is some, up here, it's like, we're limited on time for what we can run outdoors, you know what I'm saying, or when we can start. So I mean, you go out to California, I mean, you can see some people like, how the hell did you get it that big, but their seasons are way, a lot longer than what we have. But I don't know, I think it all comes down to the environment of where it's at here, so if you're doing something indoors and you're getting some pests or some mold, I mean, there's a lot of things that could factor into that. Is like, how are your plants? Do you have them directly on the floor? You get any kind of mold or whatever? What's your ventilation like? There's so many factors into it. So I mean, I think it just all comes down to the basic, grower him or herself, and their environment that they're producing that in.
And you're an outdoor grower, correct?
Well, I have a mixed here, so I
You
meant,
got the
to me,
mix.
yeah. So I can do I'm doing out a little bit of outdoor, which is more on my R&D side, because I'd like to, at least for me, it's like I want to be able to kind of, provide some to certain retailers to see what they think, and just because I my outdoor is going to be almost like my sample package, where I really want to get a lot of feedback on some of the cultivars that I'm going to be running this year, and see what they think of it. But then indoor is like, that's like my baby, man. That's what I love, like, indoor, just because you can control it, and I just like being there every single day with them. I'm like, some people want to be on the set it and forget it and let it be all automated and everything. More power to them, depending on what you got going on for time. But to me, that's like my moment of zen right there, man, is when I can just sit in the garden, look at every single plant, and like, just, yeah. And I meant, even when it comes to trimming and everything, like, once again, I do it all myself, like, and that's also kind of provides, like, I guess, I don't know, if like a proper inspection, and so I don't know, like, maybe just my level of craft is, I kind of look at it as like, an artist don't have someone go finish up their painting for them, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, here, man, yeah, just finish up this painting for me here, and expect it to be the same, because you're gonna be like, well, man, I probably wouldn't have done it like that, I don't know, and
Good
basically,
enough, but like not as good as I would have done it.
or yeah, but the thing is that it's self accountability, man, to where, like, I can't put the finger on anybody. If I put out a bad batch or something's wrong, I'm the sole person that I can blame for that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what keeps me kind of on my toes, is because it's that expectation of where I want to be able to provide in the freshest, best form possible. And then yet, you know, I don't want to ever be that guy where like, oh man, that wasn't my fault. So and so didn't do this right, didn't take that cutting right. He didn't, you know. And so that's just kind of like from the artistic side of it, that, you know, you have full accountability for your flower or your product.
That's where I'm at, Miguel. And I got to tell you, it's a lot of fucking work. And some of it I wish someone else would do, but I don't really have a person that I trust to do that work on the level that I would do it at.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, like say for instance, like, you know, even and for you, like, you know, doing interviews, it's not like, hey, go, you know, if you got a good friend, you're like, hey, go interview that person. You know, you have a certain standard or a certain kind of, you know, expectation of how you want these interviews to go. So to project that onto someone else is kind of like, you know, it opens you up to kind of like, oh man, there's like some, you know, was it done right? Well, they didn't
Right,
get
well,
into depth to that question. You know, it's like,
right, but also to expect someone to know the things that I know would also be ridiculous.
yeah, yeah,
Without proper training. You
yeah.
know, which is why I've tried to keep it in house, which is why I really respect what you just said right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely like, yeah, having full accountability for your stuff. And I meant, you know, I meant if you're not touching it, every part of it, every aspect of it, then it's kind of like, you know, it's like, I'm not saying you're not ensuring like, hey, everybody's getting, you know, the quality that they should. It's just, you know, it can kind of get missed. And I think that that's kind of like, I just didn't want to present that opportunity, because to me, it's like I said, it's an art, you know. I really, you know, doing it myself, I like, just, I mean, hey, it's all on me. And I just, you know, but either way, I love it. And I don't ever get like, oh my God, this is horrible, I got like this many things to trim, you know. It's like, it is what it is, man. I sit back, crack a cold one, throw on some background music, whatever, and then just, you know, go to town.
Look what I've made.
Yeah, you know, it's nice. And but yeah, no, I think that that's just one of like my perspective on it, that, you know, I really like to just be there and do everything and touch everything and just kind of, you know, just go to work on it. So
Can you break down the tier 1 license and just tell us what that allows you to grow? The mixed?
yeah. So for the mixed tier 1, for what I got, it provides I get to do 125 plants outdoors, and then I also have a 1,000 square foot grow. There's a lot of like hems and haws about what the actual 1,000 square foot canopy is and this and that, but I'm not even utilizing my full 1,000 square feet, just because it's just, you know, I still gotta, you know, work and whatnot. So it's kind of like, I gotta be able to just do it without, you know, jeopardizing the quality of the product. So I'm just kind of just building it up, and hopefully someday I'll be able to just, you know, work from home full time, you know. So that's just that's definitely my goal. But yeah, that's the pretty much the gist of the of the mixed tier 1.
Now, do you
And
have help on your farm?
as of help, like, no, not really. No, it's all me, man. I'm putting everything in ground. I'm watering everything.
Oh, there goes your video again. I'm pausing. Oh, I apologize for the interference, my friends. We are in rural Vermont, and sometimes we do experience these kind of things. And Miguel, it does look like you're sitting in your car. You've driven somewhere to sit in your car to get an internet connection for this interview?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, like, yeah, being right here in St. Albans, man. Yeah, because this would not go down if I was up in Enosburgh.
No, we tried a phone call and it was fucking miserable.
Absolutely. But
boy.
yeah, no. So
where were we at?
Well, we were just talking about like just growing in general, and like, you know, just kind of like, you know, kind of my thought process on, you know, on how I do what I do. But
yeah, and I'm interested in your cultivation methods as well. Maybe we could use the last 8 minutes for that, and if you got time, we'd do another one.
Oh yeah. If you got to get ready to head out in a little bit or do something,
I have nothing to do. This is about you guys. I know you guys are way more busy than me.
Yeah, no, I figured out. No, I definitely stay on for a little while longer. But yeah, so I guess, you know, I mean, everybody has their own methods of what they want to do, and I never knock anybody's whatsoever. Just, hey, it's whatever works for you. And yeah, no, I would like, let's jump into like the Hetty's Cup for a second, right? That like thing, man. It was really, really nice to see, you know, all the talent out there. I mean, it was cool, and that's just a fraction of the talent. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody was there, and it's like, man, I'm looking to find these little hidden gems of like, wow, you produce this. This is awesome. Because I still get amazed. Like, I'm like, man, when something tastes really good, and I'm like, man, that is what I'm looking for right there. You know? So, but yeah, no, it's just it's going to be good. But I did want to touch base about like one of the things I'm looking forward to, and I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like something called like Heroes Grown. where I guess it's they're helping some veterans and stuff that want to kind of be able to, learn how to grow on their own. And this guy Nick from Heroes Grown, I think he's in touch with some people up here in Vermont, because they have a huge West Coast based thing. I think they're trying to roll it out here on the East Coast, but it's given like some of our veterans some support, and so I think that's one of the things, man, because like I don't know, my dad was a veteran, and I think just I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing without veterans. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of it's really important to me to want to be able to give back a little bit to thank these people that put their life on the line. So I mean, I don't know, just one of those little good things to look forward to, that I'd like to be a part of and work with and help these guys get up to. I think they want to just start growing or learn just about cultivation. So it's going to be pretty interesting once.
I'd love to speak with some guys like that if you could put us in touch.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll send you over his contacts and everything. So
that'd be fantastic. Now,
yeah.
Let me ask you: Are you a hydro guy? Are you a no-till organic guy? What's your style?
I use a soilless medium of like it's almost like a peat, so it looks like dirt and everything like that, but it's not actual just straight up dirt. And I give it to those guys that do that Korean no-till like crazy mixes, man, because it takes a lot to dial that in, and to do it on the schedule that I'd like to do it, I just I don't really have it like that, so I kind of got to go what best works for me. But man, I love to see all these different methods and what people do, because there is some soil management is huge, and I think like some of those people that that can dial it all in and get that all set, it's just they produce some really nice stuff. But yeah, I don't know, so yeah, so I just use a soilless medium, but it works nice. It's an organic mix, or certified organic, and yeah, basically just it works for me. And I think that's like for people starting out, it's just trying to like keep it as easy as possible and not get too overwhelmed with it, so I think so I think you got to just kind of play around with it, man. It took me like 20 plus years to dial in what I do, and I think it just comes down to a lot of design, so but yeah, so like I guess out there, when you're out there, I don't know, a lot of people, you've checked out some people's grows and stuff like that, but like if you had to choose out of which one you think you'd like to work with, what would you like to work with?
Sorry, I'm dying for a second. Honestly, the best growers that I've seen so far, your flower was super nice, by the way.
Yeah, no,
oh Jesus, sorry, I'm choking to death on an interview.
It's all good.
Tito, whatever Tito's doing is fantastic.
Yep.
And Forbin's finest.
Yeah,
I think my dude at Forbin's grows some of the best flower I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what's going on at Bushy Beard. I really like these guys in Lamoille County here, the Lamoille County Therapeutics guys, the High Bricks.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I had a chance to try theirs, but you talk about Forbin's and Bushy, man. Those are a couple of my favorites, man. So when I get my hands on a little bit of that, I'm like, man, it's always a nice little treat, man. Bushy,
that blueberry muffin that he's growing up at Bushy Beard.
Yeah.
I've never had. I know they got all these crazy names now for every different strain, and everybody's got some. That's the only one that tastes like it was advertised.
Yeah.
They said this is blueberry muffin, and I was like, all right, I taste that. I was like, that does taste like a blueberry muffin.
Yep. No, that blueberry is distinct. If you get some good genetics of that, man, you're in for a treat. And then what was it? Was it Forbin's that came up with that strawberry something like some
strawberry Slurpee?
Yeah, that was a good one too, man.
Dude.
I definitely liked it. So yeah, this is just, I'm like in heaven, man. I get to be a part of this, and then get to trial this amazing flower that's out there, man. And then there's a couple cats, I won't bring up by name, but man, once these guys get some licenses and stuff like that, man, I'm just looking forward to theirs as well. So
I also want to just be fair, because I live in northern Vermont and I don't get a chance to get down south much, and I don't mean to discount any of what's going on down there. I had a pre-roll from Mountain Girl Cannabis from Anna McDuff that was super duper tasty, and I've never, since I started this story in Vermont, I haven't met really one herb that I didn't like.
Yeah.
But if I was asked to tier them, like, boy, I mean, I feel like Tito and Forbin's are really near the top, and if
Yep.
anyone wants to challenge that opinion, I'm more than welcome to sample your shit.
Yeah. Nice, man. Yeah, no, they're good. I haven't tried. You know what though? I don't know if I've tried any of Tito's, man. Like, I got to hit that guy up because, yeah, he seems like
Yes, you do.
he's a very humble person, man.
He's one
Very,
of my
very,
favorite guys out here. I really like what he's doing, and he just seems like a great guy.
yeah, nice,
Look,
man. Yeah, no,
I'd like to cut this up and come back for another chunk if you got a minute here.
yeah, absolutely.
About
Yeah,
to run out of time. I'm going to bounce this down and I'll send you a new link, and we'll come back for another piece with Miguel Lopez from LB Farms in
dude,
Enosburgh. Thank you so much,
that'd be
Miguel.
awesome. Hey, thank